to someone recently who wanted to know about the Tenderloin. What happened was it was the last round record, Grateful Dead records. We made a few records, and so this fellow by the name of Ron Rackow was running it for us, and we were going down out of business because we were trying to use alternative ways of selling, ice cream trucks and stuff like that to sell the record.
When I first went into Rackow's office, he had plans drawn up for an amphitheater that would float from city to city.
That was what he called Buckminster.
Well, then he had a letter from Buckminster Fuller saying that he would consider certain aspects.
We actually saw the plans of the airship that would take us to different places.
So Rackow was quite the dude. I think he's in prison now.
Oh yeah, he is. We'll never see Rackow again. But anyway, I had 5 days to mix the Diga Rhythm Band record, which was my first magnum opus in the world of rhythm, with Zakir Hussain. We got together. This was the world music. This is what they call it. Was born there with all these instruments from all around the world. Really complicated mixing thing. 16 tracks back in those days. That was a lot. And on those tracks, there were a lot of different kinds of instruments, so it was very difficult to mix it, even if you were a computer. I mean, there were no computers then, but if there was a computer, you would have to program it seriously. And so I had this guy, Billy Wolf, the engineer, and he was a little edgy anyway, to begin with. And so we went in there the first day. It took me about 6 hours or so to set up all of the gear to be able to actually mix. It was over in 2 more hours. Didn't get any mixing done. Told the guy, don't break any of the gear down because it's going to take me 6 hours tomorrow to set it up. Came back, Maria Moldauer and John Kahn came in afterward, and they broke it all down. Second day, I had 3 days to go to mix the work. I came in the third day, and it was broken down. I said, okay, I'm taking this in the name of the studios now, and taking it in the name of the people. And I started to occupy Wally Hyder's on Hyde Street. I called up some of my associates.
Sweet William?
Yeah, Sweet William was one of them. Hell's Angels mostly. And they came and they blocked off the front, the stairway. William stayed at the top with his cane, which was also a saber, like a sword, and Alhambra water bottle, and what else was underneath his vest. And then there was a couple more angels in the back. And so then we started negotiating with Wally. And Wally said, he said, no, you can't come up, Wally. I'm taking the studio. He said, I'm going to cut your reverb. I'm going to cut the lines to the echo chamber. I said, you cut my returns to the echo chamber, and I'll start throwing shit out the window. So Wally knew that he had a serious situation on his hands. I said, Wally, Grateful Dead, Wally Hyder's, Hell's Angels, San Francisco Cops. It's going to really look good in the papers, Wally. Just consider what's going on here. And so now it was like 20 angels. Oh, it was an armed camp. Grace Lick was downstairs, and she came up and tried to get through the gauntlet. He said, Will came, he said, Grace is out here. I said, send her in. She said, what's happening here? I said, this is the safest place in town. Go mix, go have a good time. I said, I'm going to finish this when I walk out of here. So that's how it went for 3 days and nights. Nothing moved in or out. And then Billy Wolf, do you know Billy?
Yeah.
You remember Billy? Yeah. Billy Wolf, and he denies this, but at one point, he goes, I want, and he took a lot of, drugs to calm him down in those days, but he was a brilliant engineer. He said, I want $500 an hour. And I looked at him, and sure, man. Just keep mixing. If we get out of this alive, we can talk about it. So we mixed with all of this, and we took a lot of drugs to keep us up for 3 days and 3 nights. It was quite glorious, actually. And at the end of it all, we're totally spent. It's totally, so I had the master tapes in my hand. And I walked down the stairs real slowly, like no one was in a fighting mood at this time because we were just all spent and everything. Walked down, Wally was at the bottom of the steps, you know, and I came down and I looked at Wally, I'll never forget it. I looked at Wally, he put his hands out and he goes, "Well done." And I didn't even say anything to him, I just kept walking through the whole phalanx of Hell's Angels into my car. and I mixed it there. And so that was the story of Wally Heider's. And the funny thing about it is that Zakir wasn't on that CD, because Zakir had decided he had to go to India, and so he wasn't on that CD. And I had mixed it all, and we made it without him, mixed it all, and then so I came home a week later. He comes back from India, and he says, "Can I hear what it sounds like?" I go, "Sure." And I play it for him, and he says, "That sounds great." He said, "But it would sound better with me." And I go, "Of course it would, Maestro, because you composed half of it." And he said, "Can we do it again?" And I go, "Sure." And so we did it all in 3 days and mixed it.
I didn't know that.
Nobody, not too many people knew that. In the beginning of the sessions, he went for some Kleenex, you know, to the store. He said, "I'll be right back." And he went to downtown Sebastopol here, or wherever we were, in Nevada, for some Kleenex. He never came back. He was afraid to tell me he booked a tour in India. He was so ashamed, so embarrassed, and but he didn't want to stop the recording. So he just left me in the studio with all these 14 drummers, and he went to India. And then he came back after I mixed it, after the Wally Heider story, and that's the Diga that you hear now.
Went in and re-recorded it?
We re-recorded it just like that because we knew it just cold down. And I mixed it, bang, just like that.
The level of lunacy that you guys have been involved in is just phenomenal.
It's really not easy to make the work. You do everything you have to do. There is just absolutely, it's a desperate thing because.
Well, and also that you've never worked in the industrial realm in the music business, where you know you're supposed to be doing stuff that's going to be sold and go on the charts and
can't do that.
You know.
Can't do that.